Welcome back to my Dungeon Crawl Fork programming series. First order of business. Um, I lost access to my old GitHub account because someone recovered my email address attached to it. If this was you, use a bitch. Um, but luckily, I have a thesaurus and I have other email addresses. So we're gonna start anew. Um, So, kind of the goal for the series, I wanted to go through the, this is the tavern, this is the forum for Crawl. They have a game design discussion, and this is full of intelligent discussion, such as removing confusing touch, removing identification, removing launcher ammo, removing Evo items, removing literally everything else, removing pole arms, uh, yeah, blah blah blah. But unfortunately, the actual vanilla devs are beating me to the punch. So they already removed some of the Evo items, um, but I won't be outdone. We're gonna try to remove as much stuff as possible. This isn't me, by the way. Um, and even the DCSS developers support it. So that's what we're gonna do. Um, I'm going to get started here, and then we'll come back once I have some progress. Alright, so let's take a few minutes to decide what we're going to do. I have a to-do file here. So let's go down the forum posts. Do away with arbitrary units of time. That sounds really complicated. A much easier first one will be remove confusing touch. So let's put this in here. Confusing touch. That'll be easy. I'm thinking for a lot of these we'll just disable them because that'll let save files work as well. The next one down here is remove the ID game with a new reason. Okay, identification. Forks have already done this. I think it's going to be easy to implement. Remove launcher ammo. I don't think any forks have done that, but we can give that a shot. Evocable items. What does this person want us to remove? Evo. Remove digging, enslavement, flame paralysis. Digging, enslave, flame paralysis. Polymorph. Is there anything else that he wants to remove? Box of beasts. Call those. We'll change that to wands. Beasts. Crystal. Ball. Fan gales. Yep. So when there's suggestions like this where there's remove something and then change another thing, we're just going to do remove something. Because, yeah, I mean, you know, why not? Let's see, what else is here? Remove launcher, okay. Rework pole arms. Does this person want to remove pole arms? Very healthy discussion here. This is the top lines. Let's control F. Remove. So I think this person wanted reaching removed. That's complicated. I'm not doing that. Change the way riposte. I think I talked about this. Riposte isn't worth saving. So this person wants riposte removed. So we're going to do it. Riposte. Do they want to remove inner flame? Oh no, that's too much text. Ally commands. Ally commands are a bit inconsistent. Follow me does not cause enemy allies to disengage and follow the player. This is actually false. It does work. If the player attacks, there's blah blah blah. Guard area, don't always. I'm not sure about that one. Ally command should be removed. Is this the same guy? Is this the same guy? Change the way your posture works. No, not the same guy. Okay. What did they write removed? Oh yeah. Ally commands. I think that might be enough for one video. So I'm going to return once I've done whatever setup I'm going to do. Alright, so I've done a little setup. Our first plan of action is to remove confusing touch. The way I want to implement this, I think, is to just remove it from any books so that you can never find a book containing confusing touch, and therefore you can't ever learn it and then therefore use it. And along the way we'll also have to prevent Sifmuna from randomly generating a book with confusing touch. So let's go in bookdata.h. So for my previous videos, what I did was I would make all my changes, so like do the programming, and then for the video, I would redo it all. And I'm not doing that here, so we're live programming right now. So I'm just going to uncomment them. Actually, we want to remove them. Let's remove. So one thing about the crawl source code and C programming in general, if you want to find something, it's usually going to be in all caps. So I searched with grep here for confusing in all caps, and I found confusing in all caps, right where we wanted it. And I'm going to do the same thing for a lot of the other things. So I wonder where else it might be. Spellcast, melee attack, SPL data. So I'm not exactly sure where. I mean, let's look in spell type. I'm not sure how to. If we can just remove this, like outright. I mean, it's not like anyone would have a save to upgrade to this version. But what I'm thinking is that it might break other stuff if we just totally, like, just delete it, backspace it. So maybe for so right now I'm looking for Sifmuna's ability, which gives you books. And I'm thinking that's going to be in God ability to see. Maybe no. God item? You think God item? I mean, we can check all of them. Maybe God pass. I don't actually know what all these things do. Let's look in God abil.h. Sif is not in here. So I'm guessing not that one. God. Prayer. Sif's not in there. Then God. Sif, nothing. That's really strange. Maybe I'm not searching for the right thing. I don't know. Then God. Passive. Grep Arnon. God Sif Muna. Assassin Spellcast. Talpic God Wrath. Ability type. Acquire. So let's look in acquire.cc. Should acquire manual. So this is book acquirement. So I'm wondering what agents. I'm guessing the actual scroll of acquirement is an agent, God Zom, and Sif Muna. Let's look again for Sif. Do book acquirement. Random choice weighted. Book Randart theme. So let's look in, so this is a switch statement here. Each of these is going to be a case in the switch statement. So this first one is numbooks. The other is book Randart theme. And you'll notice that there's a fall through. So that, I don't know. But let's look at acquire themed rand book. And make book level Randart. So maybe I should open up a notes thing here for things that we want to look at. We can just type it in here. Acquire themed rand book. And make book level Randart. So I'm guessing that this one makes a book with spells that are of a certain level, and that's kind of my evidence here. And then acquire themed rand book. I don't know. And then here's something about Sif. If we couldn't make a useful book, try to make a manual instead. Okay. So let's look at that first function. Acquire themed rand book. Did I not spell it right? I didn't. Acquire. So that's defined elsewhere. So let's get out of there. Grep rn. So that is in randbook.cc. Who'd have guessed? So random book theme. So that chooses a theme. Matching book theme. Is rare spell. Can we include the given spell in our spellbook? So Sif won't give you rare spells? So what's the function we're looking for? Acquire themed rand book. Turn a given book into an acquirement quality themed spellbook. The book to be turned into a rand book and the entity creating the item. This is the last function in the file. Get weighted randbook spells. So I'm thinking it might actually be easier to, we went through the spell types. There's these if major tag version equals, and these disable the game from generating things, but allows previous saves which contain them to still understand them. I don't know how it works. So, if tag major version equals 34, maybe, I don't even understand. So if we wanted to create a new major version, we could potentially do stuff. It's like confusing. I'm curious what happens if we just delete these. So let's say I comment this out. What happens? So I'm actually going to try building this. I'm going to pause while I do that, but maybe I'll just show you the beginning of it. So I'll go up, and then I think maybe here, git submodule update init. So you can follow this crawl install master md stuff. It basically tells you how to do it. First you install this stuff, then you do this. That's basically it. Git submodule update init. This pulls down all the external Git repositories which are linked to the current one. So these SDL stuff, these are actually all other repositories in the crawl organization. So they have their own builds of doing whatever. For example, fonts. Let's crawl fonts, etc. So now we're ready to, if we go back, go into the source directory, and then make TechJ. I actually don't know how many cores I've assigned to this VM. I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so new plan. So I was looking in randbook something. Somewhere along the line, when it's generating a book by acquirement, it checks to see if the thing that created that book hates a spell in the book. And I think it excludes it, or it just doesn't include it. So God hates spells, the function that does that. It's defined in religion.cc. So let's go in there. God hates spell. So this is the function. Will your God put you under penance if you actually cast spell? Spell to check against, God to check against. True if the spell is evoked or from an innate or divine ability. False if it is so fake spell. So I think we want whatever. So let's add another case here. Paculus was removed. Let's yank that, put that. God, Sif. Let's change this to Sif. Luna. And then here we're just going to check for spell, confusing, touch. I think that should be good. So we're going to have to uncomment the spells. So So I'm not sure how exactly we want to test this. First, I guess we can see if it actually compiles. But after that, I don't know. So I guess the only other way would be through an acquirement scroll we might be able to do it. So, I mean, this is why I like the idea of the version stuff. We might be able to just tell it that it's part of the old version and forget about it, you know? But I think for example, if we go into spell type, delayed fireball is a removed spell. So let's try to search for this in other parts of the code. Rep/rn. So it's in spellcast, it's in spell data, it's in spell util, it's in player. Like, I don't exactly know what'll happen if we tell the game that confusing touch is just part of an older version. And some of these are checking for equality here. Other ones are major version is greater than 34. Like, irradiate is a new spell. Or did they remove it? I don't even know. Let's look for more of these. So this is the only one where it's greater than. I wonder, did they remove Hydroform? Did they remove spell radiate? I don't even know. I mean, I guess we could find out here. So let's look at crawl ref source. And then we're in, what file are we in? Spell something data.h. Is that where we are? No. We're in spell, I don't even know. Spell type. What? What? Oh, spell type. So let's look at, we're looking at radiate. So let's go to git blame. So this will show us the commit message that did that. So I think I'm reading this right. They were just so regen is one that they removed recently. Let's try this. So they just do it that way. So let's do that in our. I don't even know what's going on. We can just move this. Now, before I actually build, I'm gonna bump up the number of CPUs I have assigned to this this VM, and then we can build. So I'll be right back. All right, so we're just gonna follow the directions in the install file. Let's see if this runs. All right, it's looking good. I'll be back once it's done compiling. All right, so the build worked. Let's play it and try to see if what we did will actually work. Slowly. I mean, it doesn't really matter here. So let's go into Wiz mode. I did that with the ampersand key. Let's look at help. We want to acquire, and we get a chance to look at the new acquirement screen. I haven't actually seen this yet, but we can look at, we always want to choose the book. We need to choose something. I don't actually, what the, I don't know why it lets you do that. It's weird. So we just got a bunch of stuff that isn't, so we're gonna get tons of spells. Oh, I guess we started as an arcane marksman, so that's why we already had spells. What the fuck? Oh. So we're just gonna keep doing stuff. Okay, new, that's interesting. We're gonna keep acquiring stuff until we have acquired all that we can acquire for books. I think books might always be on C. Oh, I guess not. I wish you could press enter to acquire it. That doesn't have confusing touch. Anyway, I'm going to do this for a while and then I'll be back. So I've been acquiring for a while, and you can see we got the Book of Misfortune. I just clicked and it went away. The Book of Misfortune added Gell's Gravitas and Metabolic Inglatiation to our library, and that was it. We go to M, and we'll do Control F, confuse. We don't have confusing touch, but if we look at the Crawl Master, the Book of Misfortune did have confusing touch in it, but it didn't give us that spell, even though it's still in thing, spell type. Even though it's still in here, it didn't actually give us a spell. So I think this is a good, I think this does what we wanted it to do. Oops, what did I just do? So we'll mark that off. And then we can go out of here. And then close out of this. And close this one. And then get status. Let's do get diff. So we removed the spell from the Book of Misfortune and the Book of Maledictions. We updated our to-do. We changed the religion stuff. And then we excluded confusing touch using the tag major version. I think that's actually, I might undo the religion one. So git check out religion, because that's not really necessary. I think, I don't know. I didn't mention this, but in my wizard mode dealings, I didn't actually test Sif Muna's book acquirement, but I assume it works the same way. Since it's been removed from the tag major version or whatever, it won't give us that by random chance. So let's go back into get diff, and then to do book data spell type. So let's get status again. Get add tech a. Get add tech a. Get status. Get commit. Remove confusing touch. All right, so that's one done. Next is identification. I'm gonna do some research into that and be right back. So I took a look at Hellcrawl. Hellcrawl has item identification removed. So what they changed to do that, there's a lot of stuff in this pull request, but the first that does it is item ident. So this figures out if you know the item or not, and instead of checking whether it's actually been identified, it just returns true for everything. The other thing is they removed identify scrolls by changing the weight that they're generated at to 0. Additionally, in this pull request, they removed cursing of stuff. So items are no longer cursed, and instead of figuring out whether they should curse an item, they just don't. But that's not what our big brain person wanted. They just wanted identification removed. I think cursed items should still exist, even though they're useless. Maybe someone can request that that be removed, but for right now we have our list. So let's try and do this. So let's go into, so this is in item prop.cc. Oops, that doesn't exist. Did I spell it wrong? I don't think I spelled it wrong. Item. Okay. Well, that file doesn't exist anymore. Find name. That's not what I want to do. Item ident. So somewhere it's done. Look for the declaration. So that is in item prop.cc. Okay, they just added a dash. See, the devs do add stuff. They added a dash. So let's go to item prop.cc. So here, we're going to do the same thing that the Hellmonk did, or whoever made this pull request. Just return true. And then we'll remove that other return. The next thing is in make item. Does make item exist? Let's scroll here. Make item. It does. So what are we looking for? SCR identify. Zom considers these items boring. That's fine. Okay, so here we're going to change this to be 0. So just like they did here. We're going to leave remove curse in. It's funny, we're not going to remove curse. I don't know. Removing cursing will require removing remove curse. I'm having too much fun here. So let's do the make again. So let's, I wonder if we can just, if you remember from my older videos, you don't actually need to recompile every single file when you do a make. After you change one file, you only need to recompile the files that reference them. And that's done through the header files that compiler does this stuff. So it should go through and delete the O files for the files that we changed, and any files that we referenced, or that reference the changed file. I don't know if it'll do that automatically. Yep. Yeah, so it recompiled item prop, it recompiled make item because it referenced item prop, religion, I don't know why, and then version. Oh no, we changed this, and then this referenced the other thing. So let's try it. Crawl. We'll go new game, and we can do anything. Be an octopode hunter. Random name. So let's go around and try to find something. So we saw a remove curse, and we knew it was a remove curse even though we've never seen it before. There's a scroll of immolation. Here's a potion of haste. Alright, so that works as intended. He's wielding a +0 mace. That was already in the game. You know what monsters are holding. Perfect. +0 robe. Yeah, everything just works. +0 leather armor. So there's still gonna be curse stuff. That's fine. Let's go into our other save game as well. Perfect. All right, let's do get status, get diff. So all we did was automatically identify items, or rather identify them in all cases, and then remove scrolls of identify. We didn't actually check this. I don't think we need to. We could also, if we wanted to, do the same kind of version major equals 34 to get rid of these from whatever enum they're defined in. But I don't think that's really necessary. So let's git add tag capital A, and then git commit tag M, remove identification mini game. Perfect. Let's go to our to-do list. We can check this one off. Next one is the launcher ammo. And again, I'm going to do some research and figure out how exactly we want to do that. So here's an interesting development. I had a crash. I was testing out some stuff, and I pressed the backslash key, and my game crashed. And it crashed with error in spellbook.cc at line 140, book of 47 out of range 0. And we didn't change this file at all, which is interesting. We changed book data or something. But I think this is an issue with our identification. Maybe. So it actually happened, this is the trace, so it failed the assertion here, which was called by this function, which is called by this function, this function, this function, this function, etc. So you can see I was opening the menu. It's going through trying to highlight them. Check if it's useless. This is the item def. Spells in book. Let's take a look at that. I'm actually going to open a new tab. So that was spells in book. That is in spellbook. So this function doesn't have any useful comments. What it looks like it's doing, it gets the book item, Then here's the spellbook template. I don't know. Spell list key. I don't know why. So I'm thinking that it's because we say everything's identified, and when you press the backslash key, it opens up your list of items for you to automatically pick up. And I'm thinking that we think we know the books, but we didn't change enough that it actually does know the books. I'd be interested to look at Hellmonk and see if they had to change anything that I missed, maybe. SPL. No. Spell. No. So maybe it's because of our confusing touch change then. So let's take a look at the function. I've already seen it, but you haven't, for the spellbook template. Oh, I guess we're just there. So it asserts, this is the assert that fails. So it checks if the book is within 0 to the amount of things in this array. And as we saw in our thing here, it checked for book 47 when the range was 43. I don't know what's up with that. If you know what's up with that, leave a comment. Okay, so I think I diagnosed what's the issue. So recently they redid how they figure out what you know. So this is knownitems.cc. This is where they're creating the menu. So figuring out what all you know. And they're going through and making a fake item for obj books and the num books. However, since we say we know everything, we know some random stuff that we're not supposed to know. For example, max fixed book. So say this is 43. This would be 44, 45, 46, 47. And that's the exact number that it says it's trying to tell us we know. So I'm going to change this line here into max fixed book, and we'll see if that does anything. So let's go into knownitems.cc. Oh, duh. It's getting late here. What was I going to change that to? Max fixed books. I think that's what I was going to do. Let's try and compile again. Did I screw it up? Max fixed book. I did. Go back, try again. All right, let's crawl? Will this work? I'm very curious. So I'm going to press backslash, and it works. So it doesn't work. It shows a book as the potion. Says Necronomicons. So, it doesn't super work. I feel like it works enough. Unknown magical staffs. This is actually a rod. Rods don't exist anymore. So the cool thing is that I've successfully screwed it up. The bad thing is that it's screwed up. The other good thing is that it works. So I'm curious what happens when we find a book. I want those boomerangs. Shield, rat. I'm not sure when we're going to find a book. It might be a while. Oh, actually, I know that they can't generate on D1. I learned that recently. Can we sneak and stab? We did. Yay. Oh, we did. Maybe let's go for... Oops. Go for a more... Oops. Quicker species. Go for a MIBE. And then we can turn on Necronomicons. It's actually funny that it does that. I don't know why it does that. We can just tab. I should change my RC file to allow instant exploration, but that might take longer than it's worth. Alright, we have a downstairs. Oh, actually, what was that dagger? We have identification now. Dagger freezing? Yeah, I'll take it. So we're actually playing the game here. Let's go strength. Do we have armor? No. So I would go whiz mode, but I think that'll automatically identify everything. If it does, that would be interesting, because we could just do whatever that does to identify everything. And be done with it, because we know it's done correctly. I'm actually curious to see if that's the case. We can find that after we find a book. So I guess right now it's just the most boring crawl playthrough ever. Oh, here's a book. Alright, so we know it's a book of conjurations. Trog doesn't like us picking it up. If we go into here, it still shows Necronomicons. Even after we pick it up, it doesn't show anything different. I wonder how we get to show everything. Oh, I guess I just need to change whatever... I need to toggle all of them to recognized. So in the code here, it should... If unknown items... So we need to figure out if unknown items. Here it sets. No. Void check item knowledge. Bool unknown items equals false. So this is by default false. Let's change that to true. Let's change that to true and see what happens. I think we had that open here. We actually need to change the header file. Cool. Let's try recompiling it. So if you're watching this with the intent that you'll figure out how to make your own crawl fork, this is what you have to look forward to. So this isn't letting us choose what to pick up. So I want all those not yet recognized things to appear on this list, not the other one. And granted, it is broken, so maybe it wouldn't work even if it did work, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I think we'll put that on our to-do list. Fix auto pickup. Doesn't know we have items. So we'll put that on our to fix list. But we can go back to the launcher stuff. So I made some kind of little tasks here that will achieve the ultimate goal here, which is to remove launcher ammo. First, we need to make sure that ammo doesn't spawn. That'll include on monsters as well as on the ground. We also need to make sure that ammo is not gifted by ammo gifting gods, so BO will gift your orcs ammo, and either Oka or Trog, I forget which, will gift you ammo. Then we need to make sure that when you try to attack with a launcher weapon, it doesn't check to see if you have the ammunition for that weapon, because we're going to remove it. We're also, in part of this, we need to make sure that the ammunition that you fire doesn't actually subtract from your inventory, because you don't have it in the first place, so it's going to end up being negative in your inventory, and that's probably not good. And then the last thing is ammo that you launch normally would go into a decision tree to figure out if it mulches or not. So whether it appears on the ground or if it just disappears into wherever, we need to always mulch, because we don't want players to be able to pick up ammo that dropped from their non-existent inventory, because the ammo shouldn't exist anymore. This is the first kind of one that we don't have any good examples of how to do, right? So for Confusing Touch, we saw how they removed whatever it was, and for Identification, we saw how Hellmonk did it. This one we're kind of on our own. So this episode's getting kind of long, actually, because we did a little bit of playthrough. I'm actually gonna leave this for our attack plan for the next episode. So I'm going to try to push out a build of this to our GitHub page. So I'm going to make a repository for it so you can download it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.